crimes today, we see, quite frankly, the seniors, the elderly, are more times a victim of a crime than the average age person, because I think sometimes the seniors are a little more trustworthy, and
Right.
they don't have their guard up, and maybe they're not involved with the technology that the younger people or the middle-aged people are. What are you experiencing as far as the elderly, John or Greg?
We see that as the fastest growing crime in our region. And these are the people that looked after us when we were younger.
Right.
And today we need to look after them. And yet, in years, what we've seen is that we don't know the people that are even on our block. We may not know who lives in the house four doors down from ourselves.
Right.
We drive into our garage, shut the door, and
Sure.
we don't know. So these kinds of crimes are not just theft or fraud, which is certainly, there's a lot of that, but a lot of it is violent crime. We've seen instances where criminals will steal a necklace or steal a ring and then kill an 88-year-old woman.
Right.
And it's a terrible thing, and we've got to find ways that we can be helpful. And one of the things that we're looking at is most of your audience may be familiar with these like med alerts, where an older person wears a necklace and they
Yes.
push a button and it alerts a call center. We're trying to find out if there aren't ways that at that same time that it can alert you or even alert a neighbor.
Good idea.
So a neighbor
Yeah.
could go over and look in on
Right.
them and make sure that they're doing all right.
Good idea. Great. One of the, I guess I didn't ask you before, but I should have, was your funding. I mean, you're giving all this reward money out. Who's putting that reward money into your kitty to
Right.
be able to disperse?
It's primarily businesses. There's a number of businesses who are members of Crime Stoppers, and they get involved because they want the region to be safer. They know that a safe region can grow economically, and that either a region with a lot of crime or the perception of crime will, from a couple of standpoints, will reduce the economic activity. Right. And also in terms of attracting talent to our area, there's always the concern by the talent. Are we going to get hurt if we come to Detroit? And let's face it, Warren's Detroit, Birmingham's Detroit, we're all Detroiters. So there's that concern, and they're anxious to see us become safer. The second largest component of funding is that law enforcement may, out of their state drug forfeiture funds, contribute to Crime Stoppers, and that's becoming an increasing part of our funding.
That's going pretty well?
Very well.
What
Yes.
what departments have, or I should say, are participating right now with their forfeiture funds?
The Detroit Police Department, the Michigan State Police, the Monroe Prosecutor's Office, the Dearborn Police Department, the Canton Police Department. There's about 25 different police agencies that are now involved.
Very good. If I'm a businessman or if I have a business in Warren and I want to be part of Crime Stoppers, how do I do that?
You would call 313-922-5000, and anyone could take your call, and I'll be out in a New York second to sit down and talk with you.
That's great. Say that number again. We're going to put it on our screen.
313-922-5000.
Very good. Fugitives. I'm going to hold this up and we're going to put it on our screen, but these are Macomb County fugitives that you have out on Crime Stoppers right now, that there's a reward for each of these fugitives. You want to talk about, first of all, maybe the overall fugitive program, and then kind of target in on Macomb County?
The fugitive, finding the location for dangerous fugitives, or really any fugitive, but mostly dangerous fugitive, is a big part of what Crime Stoppers is all about. We have to find out where they are. So we know their name, we know there's a warrant for their arrest, and there are a lot of outstanding warrants for arrests in our region. So what we try to do is to publicize who these fugitives are. And somebody will call us and they'll say, right this minute, I see them, they're sitting in a McDonald's booth, the third booth back. And we'll immediately alert law enforcement. And a lot of times it's a fugitive task force that ends up going after them, and they'll pick them up and we've got them. So, and that means they can't kill somebody else, they can't hurt someone else, but we've got them now in our custody.
You've had that program in place for how long, John? Many years? Or?
Many years, right, since 2002.
You know, just as an example, Bill, not to jump in on that, but we had an individual that had committed a homicide in Michigan, fled to another state. We had an individual call us from our state about where this person was located in another state. Before they had called us with second information, that individual went out and committed another homicide in that particular state. They were able to give us the information, though we were able to relay it to that law enforcement agency at the time, and they went out and picked up this individual.
Excellent.
So it's
pretty exciting.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
a partnership
really.
between the public and the private sector, which you're no stranger to. You have always engendered support with the public
thank
and
you.
private sector, and this is really necessary avenue if we're going to continue to combat and try and control crime.
Very good. John, you have a couple of new programs here. Crime Stoppers, Stay Anonymous, these door hangers right now, which is pretty neat here as far as, I see one here for the Warren Police Department, request you speak, call Crime Stoppers as far as various incidents that happen. You want to talk about this program?
Yeah, I'd like to.
No.
First of all, for your citizens, you may see an individual door hanger or a police officer may hand you this, and it's about a very specific crime. So it becomes important to take a look at all the information about the crime, where it was located, when it happened, asking that you please call Crime Stoppers with any information. Increasingly, we're seeing a lot of crimes that are home invasions or burglaries. And so we have developed a new way to communicate with citizens about a burglary that may be in their neighborhood. So this one says the Warren Police Department requests that you call Crime Stoppers with any information that you might have about this burglary. The officer will then put down the date and time of the burglary and the location. And that's a great way to inform neighbors that, one, there was an incident in terms of your neighborhood.
Right.
Please keep your eyes open if you see anything and call right away. And a way to go ahead and help the police solve this crime quicker. So it's not 4 or 5 days later and 2 or 3 burglaries later. It's right away. We put a stop to this, and the criminal knows they're going to get caught.
Very good, very good. Well, John, Greg, we got less than 2 minutes to go, so I want to turn it over to you, John and Greg, to see anything that we haven't covered that we should cover now.
Well, from my perspective, I would be pleading to the people on the street. And we've covered a lot of this, but this is truly a partnership between the public and the private sector. This is an opportunity for the citizens on the street who are aware of a crime, but they're concerned about their safety, they're concerned about becoming involved, to call anonymously, report that information, and somebody will do something about it immediately. And they'll have the opportunity to collect a reward for that information as well. And so it's going to help make their neighborhood safer. They could be the next victim. So before they become that victim, we just urge them that they would give us a call on 1-800-SPEAK-UP, and we will work with the law enforcement people to make that happen. It's a great partnership.
John?
I, as much as anything, I want criminals to stop being criminals. And if criminals are only concerned about whether they'll get caught by the police, that's one thing.
Yes.
But if they know that, in fact, they've got to be concerned that a neighbor, a coworker, a family member may end up giving your department a clue, some kind of a clue, that makes it a lot tougher to be successful as a criminal. And I'd strongly urge those that are thinking about criminal activity to think about a different line of work, because we're going to find them.
That's great. You know, I really think the public has received a lot of excellent information today from yourself, John, and from Greg, especially in the area of the anonymous reward program that's set up. I mean, completely anonymous. You know, you go and collect your money, you remain anonymous. That's really that's excellent. So I thank you both for being on Police Journal today. And I thank you for viewing Police Journal, and I hope that we provided you with some very helpful information today as far as how you can assist Crime Stoppers. Thank you, and until next time.